Now
on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app.
O'Connor and Company.
8:06 here on this 8 o'clock hour, the fourth of our 4 hours this morning and every morning here on O'Connor and Company. Thanks so much for tuning in, and once again, a blessed Good Friday and pending Happy Easter to each and every one who acknowledges and celebrates this important weekend in the Easter in the Christian calendar. Also, for those of you who are enjoying your spring break or finishing your spring break or starting your spring break, I don't know, there's no other way to put it, Patrice Onwuka, but happy Friday.
That's right, and happy Good Friday.
Yes, absolutely. All right, coming up, we got plenty more in store for you: news, politics, pop culture, entertainment, hopefully some laughs, and then we'll hand it off to Chris Plant. But first, let's check in with Jeff Kloha. Now, he is the Chief Curatorial Officer for the Museum of the Bible, which is an absolute treasure here in the nation's capital. I love that it's a stone's throw away from Capitol Hill, or it's actually on Capitol Hill, a stone's throw away from the Capitol itself, because, I don't know, Jeff, I think that the people who attend their daily work there in the various offices surrounding our Capitol, they could use a little God in their life now and again. So thanks for being here, and more importantly, thanks for being right there in the belly of the beast.
Well, thank you, and that's exactly where I'm sitting right now. So happy Good Friday to you.
Thank you, sir. Right back at you. I love your museum. We were there, I think, the first 6 months that you had opened, and Meredith and I immediately became members. We loved it so much. For those who have not been there yet, can you give them a bit of a taste of why this is a really good time to go there, since you've got so many activities right now for this season?
Sure, thank you. Yeah, the Museum of the Bible opened about 6 years ago now, and our focus is the Bible, of course, its history, its stories, and its impact. And, you know, the biggest story, of course, is the Good Friday and Easter in the Christian tradition. And so we have several exhibits and opportunities for people at this time of year. Right now we have actually an art exhibit based on the verse in John chapter 19 where Jesus is on trial before Pontius Pilate, and a very dramatic scene. So, of course, artists have depicted this. So there's an art exhibit. We have an exhibition of the Stations of the Cross, some sculptures based on that, which is a very long-standing Roman Catholic practice during Lent and, of course, Holy Week, the various stops of Jesus on his way to Golgotha. Beautiful art exhibition that people can see. And then there's kind of other activities. We have a brunch on Easter morning that people can participate in. Oh. We have various choirs performing today and tomorrow in the galleries, in the main lobby. And just in general, you know, this story and its impact is a big feature of our museum this time of year.
Terrific. Well, you know, talk to us about the whole experience of the Museum of the Bible. What if you've never been, and I truthfully have not gone yet with the family yet. We will definitely be doing that this year. But what can we expect, and what can you expect for different age ranges? Like, for example, my family, we have 3, 5, 11-year-old kids, and then it's my husband and myself. So what are the different experiences that you think will speak to us?
Sure. Well, the first thing is I constantly get from people that it's much more impressive and engaging than people were expecting. I think a lot of people hear Museum of the Bible and they think, how many books can you look at, right? But the museum was intentionally designed with a lot of interactivity, immersive experiences, very engaging for people of different backgrounds and age groups. And so there's quite a bit more than just looking at books in the museum, especially for younger people. You know, the touch screens, the immersive experiences. The most popular is what we call the Hebrew Bible experience, which is about a 30-minute walk through the narrative of the Hebrew Bible. Very engaging, very unexpected, and it really lays out the story very nicely. We're opening very soon an updated New Testament experience that does a similar immersive experience of the New Testament story. There's a kids area. I like to call it the Chuck E. Cheese of the Bible for younger kids. You can go in and, you know, throw rocks at Samson, and those are at Goliath and those kinds of things. So we have some, you know, very if you want to call them serious archaeological exhibits with some amazing objects, and then fun, interactive things for people of all ages.
Listen, for people who listen to this program, and people listen not just in outer-lying areas of the greater Washington area and the Mid-Atlantic, but we're listened to worldwide now on the Internet, and they might not be able to easily make it to downtown Washington, D.C. You've got quite an impressive experience online, don't you, at the museumofthebible.org?
Yeah, thank you. We've been, ramping this up kind of since COVID, when museums were closed, and started developing online resources. So we have some online exhibitions, we have videos and documentaries of projects that we've done in the past, podcasts, all sorts of video and audio content that people can access everywhere. About 1,000 objects from our collection are online with high-res images and descriptions. So lots to explore and learn there on our website.
I also just want to say, because I speak openly about being a Catholic Christian, and when the museum opened and subsequently, there has been some, I believe, completely unfounded criticism that this isn't the Museum of the Bible, it's the Museum of American Protestantism. And I've got to tell you, that was not my experience in any way whatsoever. I think that this is very much a place that goes overboard, in fact, to embrace the historical reality of the Christian church and its development of the scriptures, or more precisely, the Holy Spirit's delivery of scriptures to the Christian community and to the church. And I mean, all you have to do is look at the story of Joshua Charles, who as a Protestant worked at the Museum of the Bible, and through his experience there at the Museum of the Bible ended up converting to Catholicism. So wow. I mean, I'm sorry, this is a very ecumenical, in the best possible way, experience that everyone can embrace. Yeah,
thanks for saying that. That was very intentional, of course. The Bible has a very long history. It's touched, virtually every culture on earth, and the Catholic tradition is, of course, a very important part of that history. We have a partnership with the Vatican Library, and we have a regular series of exhibitions in partnership with them. We also have a partnership with the Ecumenical Patriarchate, the Orthodox Church in Constantinople.
Yeah.
And part of our exhibit features their history. So. Thank you. You're absolutely right. We were very intentional to ensure that there wasn't just one story with the Bible. There's so many stories of how the Bible has impacted people and nations and different cultures, and we wanted to show that throughout the museum.
Just thinking about the footprint of the museum, how do you, beyond just people experiencing it online or in person, are you able to take some of this and put it into curricula or ways to get this into, public education, private education? Because I think that there's, obviously we talk about, the Bible leaving public schools and the impact it's had, but it's so important that young people understand the importance of the Bible and the values and the virtues that it teaches. How are you able to do that and get that across to the broader society?
Yeah, that's a very big part of what we do, especially in my department, is produce educational materials and resources for basically K through 12 programs.
Okay.
So we have a very large program of school groups coming to the museum. We can also deliver those online. But we also have developed resources that are, there's a website called C3 Hub. It's for social studies teachers across the country. And we have several curricula available on that website. One's on the Bible, one's on archaeology in the Bible, one's on religion in America. And it's aimed at a general, even a public school audience. So those are free, accessible. And we certainly, we understand that we're very happy to have hundreds of thousands of people here every year. But there's many millions who will never come. So we definitely want to get these rich resources out to people, and the unique experience that we have here can be experienced elsewhere as well.
And needless to say, absolute invaluable resources for homeschool parents as well.
Yes, very much. We do quite a bit with homeschool groups, and have even with a few groups developed resources specifically to match their curricula. So. Yeah, that's a big part of what we do as well.
Jeff Kloha, Chief Curatorial Officer at the Museum of the Bible, a real hidden gem here in Washington, D.C., and should be on everybody's list of go-to sites to check out. A great Easter weekend to you, Jeff. I know it's going to be busy for you. Thank you so much, sir. Take care.
Thank you. Happy Easter. Bye-bye.
8:15. New York, New York. The city's so nice they named it twice. we got, who doesn't love New York, right? Who doesn't love getting up to Gotham and strolling the streets, dodging the human debris and feces, checking out whether
Gotham is a good analogy, actually.
The
Except
rats,
we need a Batman.
the rats that I recently saw in New York when I was there were so big. If they got any bigger, they could have the New York City rodeo right there with these rats. They are.
Wait, what about the rat czar? Remember that six-figure job that we were advertising, earlier sometime last year?
The czar needs to do a little bit more work, I'll be honest. And if New York City hadn't gotten bad enough, thanks to one-party rule dominating since Bill de Blasio, and really I would say it started with Mike Bloomberg, but he was less crazy as a Democrat until de Blasio took over. If it weren't bad enough, we now have a brand new phenomenon for ladies walking the streets of New York. Listen.
Literally just walking, and a man came up and punched me in the face.
Stories from New York City women going viral on TikTok.
I literally just got punched by some man on the sidewalk.
Their videos detailing how they're allegedly getting punched in the face completely unprovoked. Several women have posted these videos describing similar allegations in just the last week. Hallie Kate posted about an assault on Monday. She says she had to be treated at a local medical facility for injuries to the left side of her face.
Oh my God, it hurts so bad. I can't even talk.
Olivia Brand posting updates on her own experience earlier this month after commenters on TikTok started connecting the two cases.
I did just get a call from the New York Police Department detective.
The NYPD says it's investigating the incidents, but says it's unclear right now whether they're connected.
Yeah, TikTok is such a great app that it's actually creating a social contagion, encouraging people to video assaults on innocent women walking down the street and then getting social media cred for uploading it to TikTok. But you know what? Conservatives saying mean things on Twitter, that's the real problem that we've got to focus on.
There are so many fears that you have as a woman, particularly a young woman or a single woman living in the city, even a married woman. When you're just a woman walking the streets of a metropolitan area, you are concerned about being an easy target for anything. The last thing you want to worry about is being sucker punched among those things. And where is the mayor on this?
Well,
I
good
hope this starts
question.
to get
Where is it? The
attention.
mayor is busy giving out free debit cards and credit cards to illegal immigrants using tax dollars so that they can go and buy things and purchase whatever they want. Those are American tax dollars, of course, used to reallocate money to illegal immigrants who shouldn't even be in this country in the first place. But an even bigger question was asked by New York City Council member Amanda Farias. She took to social media commenting on this horrific phenomenon of women being physically attacked on the sidewalks of New York. She said, where are the men calling this out? And if I may join the legions of people on social media who have answered her rhetorical question with a very real answer. I know a man who called out this kind of behavior on behalf of innocent citizens of New York. His name is Daniel Penny. He was an innocent bystander and a retired Marine sitting on the subway as New Yorkers, men and women and children alike, were being threatened by a bully, by a drug addict.
Yeah.
And Daniel Penny subdued him. Sadly, the man died as a result of a chokehold because he would not stop thrashing about and threatening people. And now Daniel Penny is sitting in jail awaiting manslaughter charges. When Democrats in the city of New York communicate to men that they should subdue their natural instinct to protect women and protect the innocent and stop physical harm being inflicted by men, when they're told that if they do that and defend women, they'll go to jail, this is the result of your society.
Exactly.
This is what you get.
Exactly. I want men to stand up and speak out, defend, protect women when in these vulnerable moments. But society now has demeaned that as toxic masculinity, number one, and number two, Law enforcement is going after the wrong ones, or I should say the justice system is going after the wrong ones. They're going after the defenders rather than the perpetrators.
Yeah.
So it's not surprising that good men, decent men, men who have been taught to protect women are sitting on the sidelines because either they're called toxic for trying to be a man, or they're treated as just another perpetrator by the justice system. I totally but this is how warped we are as a society. This is how wrong we are as a society.
It's 8:23.
Now
On 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app.
O'Connor and Company.
It's 8:37. In 30 minutes, we'll hand it off to Chris Plant for his Good Friday edition of the program. But we still got a little bit more to talk about here. Patrice Onwuka, she and I, Larry O'Connor. Good morning, Patrice.
Good morning. Happy Good Friday.
Yes. Amen to that. And happy Friday in general to everyone listening. So we've been talking for years now about the horrific conditions that specifically women and children are faced with as they embark on the harrowing, dangerous, and illegal journey to cross our southern border. And, of course, sadly, we know and have known for quite some time that women and children are raped by the cartels and by the human traffickers. It's just a known fact that this is what's happening. It's one of the reasons why the incentives to let people cross the border illegally must be stopped, because women are being sexually abused because the Biden administration is creating this magnet that encourages this behavior. That's just, that's just a hard truth. Years after us bringing this to people's attention over the last several years, MSNBC finally got around to the story. But you will never guess. You will never guess how they approached this story. Instead of describing it the way we just described and making it a shame, an outright shame and despicable, evil act that the pro-open borders crowd are responsible for. No, listen to this, how Paula Ramos reported the story on MSNBC.
MSNBC contributor Paula Ramos just came back from the border with a special report, and she is with us this morning. I know, Paula, you spoke to migrant women who have been sexually assaulted during their journeys to the U.S., and I know that you've spoken to them over the years. What did you learn, and how are things different?
Well, Jose, as you can imagine, they are horrified. They're traumatized. I spoke to women that had been held by the cartel, some for a week, some for over a month, as they were being sexually abused. But I think, Jose, this is a reflection of a larger problem that we're seeing, right, where there are migrant women that are stepping into the United States with rape-related pregnancies as they're then trying to navigate this very complicated legal anti-abortion landscape. And so the question that we had is, what does that look like, right? What does post-Roe America look like through the eyes of one of those migrants?
Yeah, you've got.
Now, there's more to this, Patrice.
You've got to be joking me.
They finally get around to reporting on this story that has been happening for years, and the entire report has to do with these women who were sexually assaulted and then pregnant by their rapists. And the whole angle of this story is they're coming here and they're not able to get an abortion.
And number one, the fact that is the angle they focus on.
Yeah.
Number two, the fact is she said that the bigger issue is the fact that these rape victims can't get abortions. That's the bigger issue?
Yep.
But
that's the only issue. It's the only reason why they even did the report in the first place. If somebody had said 4 years ago before Roe v. Wade, hey, we should do something about all of these illegal immigrant women who are being sexually assaulted. That's boring. Nobody cares about it. That's just feeding into build the wall MAGA fascist crap. We're not going to do that. But now, they're getting pregnant by their rapists, and then they come here and they can't kill the baby. Oh, now we've got a story. Now we've got a story worthy of MSNBC.
Because I think we are seeing a threat. If folks listen to our show today, from the earliest segments we did, we highlighted how the human suffering is hijacked by the left and used for whatever political narrative they can find, whether it's an LGBTQ youth whose suicide is hijacked and used for a narrative, or in this case, women and girls who are raped, abused, But because they end up pregnant, the pregnancy is hijacked and used as an opportunity to hammer on Republicans and the post-Roe world, as though that is the larger issue.
Yeah.
It is not the human suffering. It is not the rape. It is not the victimization they care about. The victimization is simply just a vehicle to get to their end goal. And it's disgusting.
A story about women and children being sexually assaulted by human traffickers, all in and of itself, is a negative story, an indictment on Democrat policies.
Yes.
And it serves conservatives' purposes for protecting the border. So if the target of the report is a Democrat and the beneficiary of the report might be Republican policies, they won't do that story. But now they can tell the story in a way that targets conservatives who are against abortion. Now they will do the story. It continues here. Listen to this.
We're about to talk to a young asylum seeker who was sexually assaulted on a Mexican border town and then found out she was pregnant as soon as she stepped into Texas. The only reason she agreed to talk to us today is because we will not be disclosing her identity or where we are right now.
When Valentina left El Salvador for the United States, many of her friends cautioned her against it. They knew about the harrowing experiences of women heading north.
¿Te violaron?
¿Qué?
¿Una vez? ¿Múltiples veces?
Sí, fueron varias veces.
At what point after entering Texas did you find out that you were pregnant?
Al mes y medio.
Stop it. Stop. Do you notice they're not actually... Did you notice how the story picks up, or begins, I should say, when you got into Texas and found out you were pregnant? No time spent on the story about her sexual assault and what happened at the hands of the human traffickers who were exploiting the open border and crossing the border illegally. I'm honestly, when I reach the point where I think I've seen it all from these people.
But you know what, Larry? Here's a really interesting, cynical but true view about a lot of these issues. It's that no one wants to solve the problem. Well, I shouldn't say no one. A lot of people who claim to care, they don't want to solve illegal immigration. People who claim to care about blacks and opportunity, they don't want to see blacks rise in this country. There is a cottage industry of organizations and of politicians and policymakers who fundraise and who build political power off of the victimization, off of the poverty, off of the human suffering of a lot of people. And when you actually come to the table with policy solutions and ideas and hard truths and facts about personal responsibility and warnings, then you are called the racist, the xenophobe, the XYZ ending in IST. But that's the truth. People
Patrice,
are making money and they don't want to solve the problem.
If I may, it's even worse than that. They don't even see it as a problem. They don't even see it. The only problem they see in this entire report is the fact that the women who are now pregnant from their rapist is not able to kill the baby. That's the only problem they see in this entire scenario, and that's why that's the story that they did.
Miss anything? Don't worry, we've got you covered. Get today's breaking news on the Vince Colonnese Show, weekdays 3 to 6, right here on WMAL.
It's 8:49 now on this Good Friday, and Patrice, let's wrap things up here on our broadcast before we hand it off to Chris Plant. With look forward to Sunday morning, as so many of us will be venturing into our house of worship to acknowledge the most important day on the Christian calendar. Cardinal Timothy Dolan of the New York City Archdiocese has a very important column in today's Wall Street Journal talking about how crowded your church is going to be this Sunday. There's a really good reason for that, isn't there?
It is. It's probably the one time where friends, family members, coworkers neighbors are willing to venture into a church to understand, usually invited by, family members, friends, coworkers, very often not even knowing what to expect. But it's important that what they find is they find community. They find faith. They hopefully find Jesus, our Lord and Savior. They find purpose, a reason for their existence. They find love. But his real focus is also on the community that they find and the communal element of worshiping together. Not just, I get it, sometimes you worship online, you watch your favorite church service online, but there is something about being in a room with a group of believers. There's a level of faith, there's there's a level of joy and love and peace that you experience, and the beginning of relationships that can be forged when you are with other people who believe as you do.
Yeah, and well said by the Cardinal too. And it always bothered me when I would go to church on either Christmas Day or Easter Day, and the priest would often start his homily by saying, "Wow, it's so great to see the church this crowded and this overflowing and this packed. I wish it was like this every Sunday." And they start to sort of lay this sort of guilt thing, like, "Where are you?" You know, when it's not a holiday. And it's like, stop doing that. Some of those people it may be their first time there ever. Or certainly in a post-pandemic era, I would venture to say that this Sunday at Easter, there will be people venturing to an actual church for the first time ever. They may have been doing this virtually for the last 3 or 4 years and finally getting out there. And it's a wonderful thing to see. We should be excited about this, not in some way trying to shame people.
Or as churchgoers, I know you have your favorite seat, your favorite pew. That it may be tight. You may not be able to get into your normal seat. It may take a lot longer to get in and out of the church parking lot.
Yeah, the parking lot is the real problem.
I get it. But please, think about this may be a life-saving moment for someone, a faith-starting moment for someone else. And if we take that viewpoint, then our inconvenience means nothing in the scope of eternity.
Well said. Happy Easter. That's it, Patrice. Again, happy Easter to you and your whole family. Have a great
You too,
weekend.
Larry. To you and the family, too.
Thank you. It's time for Chris Plant. Christopher?
Hey, now. Boy, your show was chock full of amazing stuff today. Just amazing.
Well, listen, you raise the bar every morning at 9 o'clock, so we got to do our best
bring our
to
A
set a
game.
standard.
I tell you, that MSDNC story, the border, is just amazing.
Yeah.
And that's their Good Friday story. That's their
right.
That's MSDNC. Quite amazing. Also, I love this story. You see the rabid coyote story attacking women around here? You see this story?
No.
No.
Absolutely remarkable. Wait till you hear this one.
News.
Yeah, well, it has a happy ending. It has 2 happy endings, as a matter of fact.
Perfect.
So I got that coming up. And Democrats in New York